My name is Essence Briscoe. I work with the Rutherford County Chamber of Commerce on the workforce development team. We are here today with Jeremy Mills of Rogers Group. They are currently hiring and they're here to talk to you about job opportunities and the culture and how you can become a part of their team if you're interested. If you have any questions during today's session, just go ahead and type those into the chat box. And I am going to now turn it over to Jeremy.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Essence. Good morning, everyone. My name is Jeremy Mills, and as she shared with you, I am with Rogers Group. My role with the company is as a division recruiting coordinator. I've been with the company for about a year, and it's been a really, really wonderful experience. It's a great place to work. It's a great company to be a part of. And sort of in I don't know if I want to call it a unique industry, but it's an industry maybe that is very important to all of our lives every day, but a lot of times I don't think it gets a whole lot of exposure out there, sort of going on in the background and behind the scenes. So what I'd like to do is just share a little bit about who we are as a company this morning, and then transition to there to talk a little bit about opportunities that we have, what kind of the work environment is like, benefits, and the process to go about applying for and finding jobs and openings that we have available. So we'll just dive right in and get started with everything. Let's see if I can get my screen share to work. Okay, so who is Rogers Group? We are one of America's leading suppliers of construction aggregates. We typically tell folks on a day-to-day basis that we're a construction aggregate material supplier or a construction aggregate mining company. The biggest part of the business that we do is mining and crushing limestone for use in different construction purposes, construction materials. A secondary line of business for us along kind of that same line is that we also provide sand and gravel. We operate several river dredge operations where we are sourcing and supplying sand and gravel for construction purposes as well. We've got a couple other lines of business that have become important to the company as the company has grown over the years, and those are our hot mix asphalt. We're an asphalt supplier, so we take some of the aggregate material that we mine, we mix that with the other ingredients needed to make asphalt, and so we will make and vend hot mix asphalt, and then we also use some of that product in operating bridge and road construction crews, primarily focus on heavy highway construction, road construction, and paving at this point. We have had a side of the business that was a little more heavily focused on bridge work and kind of phasing that out to focus more on road construction, paving, new road construction, road resurfacing. So that's the lines of work that we're in. Rogers Group as a company, one of the things that makes us special and unique is we're a family-owned business. We're actually the largest privately owned aggregate supplier or crushed stone company in the nation, and we're placed about 7th overall when you consider publicly traded companies. So I like to tell folks we're a really big family business. We're American owned. We have about 2,000 employees, a total altogether of about 100 quarries and asphalt plants across the area of the country that we operate in, primarily in the sort of what I would call the Mid-South region, Midwest region of the country. We're in 11 states currently, and so you see all those listed there. The heaviest concentration of our operations, however, is in Tennessee. We're headquartered in Nashville, and a very large concentration of the quarries and plants that we operate, and as well a lot of the road construction that we do, is in the middle and eastern Tennessee area. So a little bit of our background there. I did leave some slides in here to just talk a little bit about the company history, so you have an idea of kind of who we are and where we came from. The company, Rogers Group, takes its name from Ralph Rogers, who was the founder of the company. He founded Rogers Group in 1908 in Bloomington, Indiana, where he began a business providing crushed rocks and crushed stone for use in different construction applications. As the business grew, kind of going into the 30s and 40s, we had already expanded as a company into about 4 other states. And at the start of World War II, Ralph Rogers had really positioned his business to be instrumental in supporting a lot of the construction efforts that were happening with military bases and military installations in the country during that time. Ralph Rogers and Company was a contractor that was actually signed on to help build the Clinton Engineer Works in support of part of the U.S. Army's Manhattan Project, and that eventually became known as Oak Ridge Laboratory, where there was a lot of research done on our first nuclear weapon as a country. He was also instrumental in helping to build Camp Campbell, which later became known as Fort Campbell, which houses the U.S. Army's 101st Airborne Division. So some really noteworthy projects that we had a privilege to be involved in as a company. And then, moving out of the World War II era into a lot of growth and infrastructure growth for the country. He was instrumental in helping to supply materials for construction on the interstate systems as well. So we've really had a history that's been rooted in a lot of the country's growth over the last decade. I'm very proud of that. And you can see just a list there on this screen of a number of other projects we've been involved in, everything from military bases to sports stadiums and a lot of, dams and highway systems in the country. So very proud of our history as a company. It's a very strong, it's very stable, long running company as well, which I know is really important for folks as they're thinking about career opportunities now. If I take this job, what's the company's future? What does the outlook like? So really strong foundation. A little bit about our core values. We don't really have a big, long, fancy mission statement. It really comes down to us to three core values that we like to talk about and focus on as a company. And this is what I've observed in the leadership of the company. This is what drives the decisions on the day-to-day basis. And number one is placing the highest value on our people. Number two is unwavering integrity. And then number three is excellence in every undertaking. So we'll dive into those just a little bit more, placing the highest value on people. One of the slogans that we're most proud of as a company is that together we create opportunities for people to succeed. A big piece of placing the highest value on people within the company is our safety culture. We strive to make safety the number one priority in our day-to-day operations. I'm kind of fond of saying that safety isn't just number one. We really want people to come into the work environment, the job setting with a safety mindset in everything that we do. A lot of processes and policies put in place to make sure that even working in an industry that can be dangerous, like mining, like highway construction, that we've got the protocols and the steps in place to keep people safe. We offer competitive salaries and great benefits package. We'll talk about that. We think that's part of placing the highest value on people as well. There are opportunities for people to continue their education and continue to build their skill set and their experiences as well. So Rogers Group is really great about promoting people from within the company. I work with a lot of folks that are in a plant manager role now that are fond of saying that they came into the company and started holding a shovel and a water hose, and now they're in a position with leadership. They're managing these different operations. So there really is a lot of opportunity to move up within the company just by learning the business and getting the experience on the ground. Our second core value, I already mentioned, unwavering integrity. We want to do things the right way, even if no one's looking, even if we don't have to. That's just the core of who we are. And that includes, treating our customers fairly. We do have a pretty involved internal audit process as well. We're always kind of trying to look over our processes, our steps, and our books to make sure that we're doing things in a correct and ethical way, treating people well, all very important to the company. And then also excellence in every undertaking. We want to do things to the best of our ability. So we try to collaborate closely with our customers, our different officials that may be working with us on projects and jobs that we bid within the local community to make sure that we have a quality outcome on the project. Quality control is really important to the company. And that's another avenue within our line of business that somebody may have an interest in getting involved. Is just, you would think a rock is a rock maybe, but there are quality standards that we have to follow and make sure that the material that we're producing meets certain specifications to be used in these different construction applications and in building highways and roads. And of course, we've received a number of different awards for our quality and for the work that we do. Very proud of what people are putting together for us in the plant and in the field. We are focused very heavily on the environment as well. We always like to involve environmental partners to make sure that as we're, maybe expanding a quarry site or location or looking to take on a new project, that we have taken all the appropriate environmental concerns, into account. So that's very important to us. And there's a lot of measures, even within the quarries, that we utilize to try to be good stewards of the environment. Quarries actually are a place where you can collect a lot of water because of the nature of the work that we're doing there. And we like to reuse a lot of that in, just trying to manage our dust control and air pollution on site. We'll reuse a lot of the water that's collected in the quarry. So we use that for wheel washes. We'll use it in our water trucks. So trying to be sustainable and environmentally focused in our operations is important. And we're also very involved in the community. We take a lot of pride in being engaged in the different communities where we have our locations and our plants set up. We do a lot to give back to local schools and organizations in the area. I know personally, I think I had been with the company maybe 3 weeks, and they already had me out, helping with a project at a local elementary school to build flower beds, for one of the classes there, outdoor, like an outdoor garden. And so we supplied, there was some gravel and stone that was used in that process, and we supplied some of those materials as part of our give back efforts. So being involved in the community, being a good member of the community is important to us as well. I know I'm the guy that's here that's paid to tell you Rogers Group is a great place to work, but I think it was LeVar Burton with Reading Rainbow was fond of saying, you don't have to take my word for it. And I've got a couple employee testimonial videos that I would like to share, and then we'll talk a little bit more about opportunities from the company, with the company from there.
I'm Robert Sharp. I'm work at West Huntsville Quarry, North Alabama. I'm equipment operator, plant operator, ground guy. I like it because I get to work outside and I don't do the same thing every day. Typical day, I do anything from cutting and welding to running a bobcat, running a loader, haul truck, run the plant. It's a great company. I mean, they care about their people. You're not just another number. I mean, got great benefits. I mean, pretty much everything. Opportunities are endless at Rogers Group.
Why do you say that?
Sky's the limit. I mean, you work hard, you get what you put out.
Okay, and this is another one of our employees. This is Greg, and this gives you a chance to kind of see some of the different roles that people within the company hold and kind of the work that they do, the environments that they're in on a daily basis. So I think that's another thing that makes these videos really great. Let's hear from Greg.
My name is Greg Combs, and I'm a stockpile driver here at Rogers Group. On a typical day, I check the areas out, pre-trip my truck, make sure everything's good to go for the day, make sure we're running the right product, and getting ready to start my day. The favorite part of my job is the safety aspect of it, because actually I came from a couple of places that safety wasn't a high priority, and here at Rogers Group, safety's a #1 priority. I chose to work for Rogers Group because I heard it was a great company to work for. And now I believe it is because I work for them. If someone was looking to work for Rogers Group, #1, I would tell them it's a very safe work environment and it's a great place to work. Yes, and it's very team-oriented, family-oriented, and it's close-knit, and everyone's friendly, good people, and great management, and like I said, a great company to work for.
All right, and then one more. Get it to skip to next. There we go. And then Nick. Nick actually works in the asphalt line of our business, so he's a manager at one of our asphalt plants.
My name is Nick Richardson. I run the Tuscumbia asphalt plant in North Alabama. On a normal day, we have 2 construction crews. We run asphalt depending on what they need and supply any private customers as well. I like that every day is something different. It's not monotonous, it's not boring. Some days we're doing maintenance, some days we're helping out with the quarry, some days we're running big production all day long, so it changes day to day. It's always something new. I didn't know a whole lot about Rogers Group when I hired in, but I can tell you why I stay at Rogers Group. I stay here because I'm treated like an individual. I don't get treated like an employee. You know, my voice matters, my opinion matters. We do have great benefits. They care about your family. Your family is very important to them as well, not just you and what you can bring to the company. I would say this is a great company. This is a good industry, and I would say that you're only going to be limited by what you limit yourself, that you can go as high as you want to go. There's many different routes that you could take, so I would find it hard to believe you couldn't find something that you enjoy here.
Okay, so I really love those videos. I think it gives you a good chance to hear from some folks that have been a part of the company. I know a couple of those folks in the testimonials personally. Have had the chance to meet them and work with them through the course of what I do, and they all kind of have the same story, that they came in and really just came into an entry-level position and have had opportunities, you know, as they gain some skills, gain some experience, you know, prove their reliability as well, to just really create opportunities to move up and grow within the company. And again, Rogers Group is very focused on trying to promote folks from inside. Hopefully one of the things that you heard from the video, or two things, is that safety really is a priority with the company. I can't stress that enough. It can be a dangerous environment, and we do take the safety aspect very seriously in a productive way. It's something that we're looking for people to be engaged with as part of their daily job, not just, you know, a couple of rules that, you know, we force someone to follow, but really thinking constantly about how can we make this process more safe. If something seems dangerous, let's stop, let's assess it, let's figure out what resources or processes we need to put in place to make that go more smoothly and more safely for people. We want everyone to go home in as good a shape as they came in at the end of each shift. So that's really important to us. And then just that the sky is the limit in terms of opportunity as well. I think that was echoed in all of the videos. So there is a lot of opportunity here. It is a great place to be in a really positive environment. So talking a little bit about what we're looking for as a company, I put this slide together to just kind of go over some skills that our team needs and highlight those. We're looking for folks with a variety of different backgrounds. If you've got experience with construction labor, experience in paving, experience in heavy equipment operation, experience in mechanic work, especially as a diesel mechanic or heavy equipment mechanic, experience with safety, experience in welding and cutting. There's a lot of welding, fabrication, and just general wrench turning that goes on with a lot of our plants. CDL backgrounds, even sales and customer service. You may have a skill set that we're looking for that would be a really great fit with our team. But I also tell folks, if you've got a willingness to work hard and work safely, we've probably got an opportunity for you. So looking a little bit more at some of the specifics with jobs there, and I apologize, it looks like my slide is coming through a little funny there with some of the, there we go, maybe that fixed it. Jobs and opportunities, I kind of categorize these into a couple of different sections, entry level and then more skilled, because there are opportunities for folks to come in that have never worked in a mining or a quarry environment. It is a little bit of a different experience than working in, say, a factory or an office setting. You are outside, the majority of the plant is outside, sort of like what you see behind me in the picture here. There are entry-level positions. We are also looking to fill skilled positions as well. From an entry-level standpoint, if you wanted to go to work in the quarry, some great positions to be on the lookout for would be a position that would be posted entitled like a utility worker or a ground tech. Also a haul truck driver. If you've never operated heavy equipment before, haul truck is probably the easiest position to come in and learn and kind of start to get a feel for running equipment, because it's a key part of what we do in making our production. They're hauling the raw material from the quarry pit to the crusher to begin the crushing process. On the paving side of our business, traffic control technician is a great place to start, as well as a general road builder position. That's going to be more of a labor-focused position. Traffic control really gets you immersed in a lot of the safety aspects of working around highway construction, and these traffic control folks are usually working hand in hand with the paving crews. So somebody that wants to get experience in that environment and maybe work towards running a piece of paving equipment or working around the paver. A lot of times our paving crews are looking to move folks from the traffic control role into a role with the paving crew itself. So that's a great place to start as well. If you come to us with a driving background, you have your CDL, we're routinely or regularly looking for folks to come in a dump truck driver role. That's going to be hauling materials to our customers and also to support jobs that we may be working. So maybe hauling to deliver to a customer that's called in and order a load of rock or stone, may also be working to move asphalt to support one of the construction crews. And then service and sales, we're oftentimes looking for customer service reps as well, just kind of throughout the area here in the Middle Tennessee region. So that's a great position to come into if you're interested in the service and sales side of the business. From a more skilled standpoint, we are looking for folks with experience on some of the larger pieces of equipment. If you've had experience running loaders, track hose, dozers, and want to get involved on the quarry side of the work, we're oftentimes looking for wheel loader operators, either in the pit, pushing production, or on the yard, stockpiling and loading customer trucks. Maintenance technician or a millwright is another important position for us in the quarry. Somebody with a strong background and some experience in doing welding, cutting, and fabrication would be a great fit for one of the maintenance positions around the plant. On the paving side, more skilled positions would be like an asphalt roller. That's a piece of equipment. Obviously, you're probably familiar seeing those on the highway that's working to compact the asphalt after it's been laid. So that's a more skilled position. We're typically looking for someone that's had at least a year, a couple years working in asphalt to come into a role like that. And then also the asphalt screed operator or the screw operator, they're the one that is working the back of the paver that's controlling how the asphalt is laid. That's a very high skill position and very in demand in this industry. So somebody with some experience to come into that role is a really great position to come on board with. And then specialty, I just put, we are always looking for heavy equipment and diesel mechanics as well. So if you've got some trade training in that field, in that area, we definitely employ those kinds of folks, looking for folks that have a strong background, keeping that equipment running. Just a few things about job details to kind of get things kind of headed into a close as we talk about how you would apply. One thing that's really important, because we are classified, under federal law and labor law standards, we're classified technically as a hazardous work environment because you are working outside, you're working around heavy equipment. It can be dangerous at times. Obviously, we do a lot with our safety protocols, but we are required that if we're employing somebody to come into the quarries and work or on the highways to work, they have to be at least 18 years of age to get started in those roles. I did want to talk about surface versus underground. A lot of times when you talk about mining, people imagine a mine underground. The majority of the limestone mining that we do, especially in the Middle Tennessee area and the North Alabama region, is going to be surface mining. We have one underground limestone mine. Actually, it's in Nashville. It's our Whites Creek location. That mine is underground, and that is a little bit of a different experience there as well. Some people find that really exciting and interesting. Other folks say, no, I would rather stay on the surface. The majority of the opportunities we have are going to be working around surface mines. But if underground intrigues you, let us know. We may have a spot for you there over at Whites Creek. Start times are generally fairly set at all of our locations. They're going to be somewhere, depending on the location, around 6 or 6:30 in the morning is typically when a shift gets started. A couple sites may have some different start times that they employ, but generally 6 or 6:30, depending on the location, is going to be your start time. Your end time is a little bit more unset. A lot of times that just kind of depends on what we need to get done for the day and how quickly we get it wrapped up. Most of the time we're working a 10 or a 12-hour shift, just in general. We do run our quarries locations, all of them 5 days a week. Some will run on some Saturdays. A lot of times there's a staggered Saturday where we may run one Saturday in the month or every other Saturday in the month, just depending on how we're doing and meeting our production needs and supplying materials that customers are purchasing off of our yards. If we find that we're getting low or maybe behind on where we need to be in production, we may opt to run a Saturday in there. Generally, folks in the company right now, especially the busy time of year, they're typically getting between 50 and 60 hours a week in total. Overtime is pretty regular and consistent within the company. It can be a little bit slower during the winter months. As you look at January, February, and March, you may be closer to some 40 or 45-hour weeks there. But a lot of the folks that work in our industry and that work in the plants are really grateful for the overtime hours. Overtime is paid at time and a half after you hit 40 hours on the week. So usually folks are working into overtime by late in the day on Thursday or to start their day on Friday. And that's usually seen as a positive for most folks working with us. And then PPE, personal protective equipment, and safety equipment. Rogers is really great about providing pretty much all of that for new employees coming in. So your hard hat, your safety vest, your gloves, your protective eyewear, all of that is going to be provided for you by the company. If you're coming into a role that is heavily relying on the use of tools, we supply the tools for you. We don't expect you to come in, with a loaded toolbox ready to go to work. We're going to provide all that as a company. The only thing that we don't really provide for you that you'll need just right out of the gate is your protective footwear. Safety toe or steel-toed boots are important. They're required. You do have to have those. We don't provide those for you, but what we do offer to employees is after 90 days with the company, we provide an annual safety footwear reimbursement of up to $125 on a pair of safety toe or steel-toed boots. And that is an annual benefit that's provided to every employee. So what you can do is you can go and purchase a pair of boots. You just got to save your receipt. We'll reimburse you up to $125. And that ends up being a really nice benefit to make sure that we've got employees that have that good protective footwear, and you're able to do that every year. So as you wear out a pair of shoes or boots, you're able to get those replaced. The one other thing I wanted to touch on before we talk about how you apply is just our benefits. We are really, really proud of the strong benefits package that we offer to our employees coming on board. And this benefits package is offered to every Rogers Group employee that starts with the company, regardless of the role that they're coming into. So we offer group insurance. It's got a couple components to it. Blue Cross Blue Shield is our carrier. We do a health savings account or an HSA offering, in addition to 2 consumer-driven health plan options for employees to choose from. So very affordable insurance coverage. Just to give someone a ballpark, there are different tiers. We've got a standard plan and a premium plan. The standard plan usually runs our employees about $19 a week for a single employee, and it's $35 a week, I believe, for the premium plan. And then someone that's in the family tier, they're looking at an expense of about $65 a week for their healthcare coverage, and it's about $103 for the premium standard. Those are the standard and premium plan costs. That's your medical, and then dental and vision add-ons run somewhere between $2 and $15 a week, just depending on the options that an employee selects. I always like to kind of share the cost. I hear different things from folks about insurance costs being a really important thing when they're considering, a benefits package that a company offers. So generally the feedback I get is that ours are very affordable and very competitive with what others in the industry may be offering. We do also provide company paid insurance coverages in terms of your life insurance, disability, short-term and long-term disability plans, and an accidental death and dismemberment policy. All 4 of those coverages are provided by the company for each employee, and Rogers Group picks up the cost on all of those. We have a great retirement package, 401k, and there's a company match and a company contribution that are provided. Both of those kick in after the employee has reached a year with the company, but Rogers Group does a 2% contribution for every employee. Rogers money into a retirement account for that employee. It's 2% of their base annual salary, regardless of whether they're doing anything else for retirement or not. They're going to put that back. And then they match dollar for dollar on the first 3% that an employee contributes, and then 50 cents on the dollar for up to the next 2%. So if you're putting back 5%, Rogers would match you 4%, and that would maximize what the company makes available. So some strong retirement support there. We've got 7 paid holidays every year. Those are going to be Memorial Day, Labor Day, and 4th of July. We do Christmas and New Year's, and then you get 2 days off at Thanksgiving, that Thursday and that Friday, which is really nice. And then we provide what we call a paid holiday shutdown. The days between Christmas and New Year, there's about 4 or 5 working days there each year. That's paid time off for all of our employees to spend with their families, enjoy the holiday season, and kind of be away from work. Some of our sites may call an employee to work during that time. Not everything totally shuts down, but we always provide those days for an employee to trade that time out and take a vacation at a later date. And some of our sites will double pay employees if they end up having to come in and work during that period. So it's a benefit to folks either way. And then paid vacation is also provided. We provide a week after a year with the company. There's 2 weeks after 2 years, 3 weeks at 5 years, and at 20 years it goes to 4 weeks. So some strong vacation benefits, and we do offer an annual performance-based merit increase each year as well. Just a little bit about joining the team. You can view our job postings and apply online at rogersgroupinc.com/careers. You can see job postings filtered there by state. I mentioned we were in 11 states. You can tailor it down to see what's in Tennessee and even, certain geographic areas within the state. I encourage folks to view our postings often because our open positions tend to change all the time. I think we have a couple things out there right now in the Murfreesboro area. I know we've got something posted for a CDL truck driver out of our Rutherford quarry. I think we may have an equipment operator position posted out there for Rutherford at the moment. We've also got several other quarries that are just kind of in the immediate surrounding area as well. We've got some in Deason and Shelbyville. We've got some down towards Hillsboro. So we have a lot of folks that may live in the Rutherford County area and opt to work at one of those other sites as well, just depending on the jobs that are available and kind of their skill set and interests. But check that often. When you go to apply online, I always encourage people to do a couple of things. Number one, be sure to include any relevant prior work experience on the application. A lot of times our managers aren't so interested in a total work history, every single thing that you've done in order, as much as what are the jobs that you've done that relate specifically in some way to this industry. Working in construction, working outside, landscaping work is a great thing to include. Anything like that you've done that would kind of be a match is good to include. Make sure you list that on there. And then if you had experience operating equipment, be sure to list the make and model of any heavy equipment that you've operated. Again, saying I've run a Cat 988 wheel loader really speaks volumes to our managers, as opposed to saying, I ran a really big loader one time. We hear that sometimes, but if you've got that specific detail, that will really get their attention and do a lot to getting your application sort of advanced through the process. Our interview process usually will start with a phone screen. Usually you'll probably be talking to me on the phone, and I'll just give you a phone call. It's very informal. Just want to get usually a little bit more background and talk about, what your experiences have been and why you're interested in coming on board with Rogers Group. And then we usually look to work from there to an in-person interview, usually with the plant manager, maybe their foreman or lead person, if it's a fit in the phone interview. If you're offered the position, that offer is always contingent on our pre-employment drug screen and physical. So we'll work, we have a third-party service called HealthBridge that sets up the screening, and they get you, to a clinic in the local area. We get the results back, and then we'll set you up with a start date. And every employee coming in, whether you've worked in the mining environment or not, you're going to go through a pretty extensive training and orientation process. Usually your first day is spent working with our human resource coordinator, kind of getting all of your new employee information and some of your initial benefits information set up. And then you start going through training and orientation work on the computer to just get you more familiar with the company and the work we do. And then you'll go through usually several days on the job coming in, learning your way around the site that you're going to be working at, or learning your way around some of the equipment you may be working with. So we don't just throw anyone into the cab of a piece of equipment. Even if you've had 20 years of experience, part of our safety policies and procedures we go through, and we have somebody that's been with the company for a little while ride with you, work with you for a day, a couple days, and make sure that you can operate that piece of equipment. You're familiar with where everything is in that cab, and you know what you're doing before we'll sign off and kind of turn you loose, so to speak. So we do want to make sure everybody really has a chance to learn their bearings. And I think the feedback I get from folks is we do a pretty good job with that. So that's all that I've got to share. I may be running a little bit long. Essence hasn't cut me off yet, so that's a good sign. But one of our other slogans that you'll see around the company is that, we are proud that we're building communities from the ground up. And in the work that I do, I always like to add the word building communities and careers from the ground up, because I do believe it's a good company to come in, get a great start, and have a great long-term career in the mining industry or working in road and highway work. So all of my contact information is there on the screen. Please feel free to retain any of that. If anything that I've shared catches your interest, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to talk to anyone that has questions or wants to learn more about our business in the industry, or how they might have an opportunity to come on board and be a part of Rogers Group. So that's all I have.
Jeremy, thank you. This was a great presentation. We even picked up some new terminology that we can share with anybody who we know who may be looking, or all of the attendees on the call who are looking. I love the breakdown of entry level versus skilled. So no matter where you are on the spectrum, you have opportunity here, and then there's always the opportunity for job growth. So I encourage anyone who is watching either live or on demand to reach out to Jeremy, or to go on to Rogers Group Inc. .com/careers and apply for their open positions. I don't currently have any questions in the chat box, so I'm going to give us a few seconds to submit those if anyone has any. And I will wait for those to come through just in case, a few more seconds. And then if not, if there are no questions, we're going to end the call. Okay, no questions yet. So I'm going to assume that everyone is either going to email Jeremy or go to rogersgroupinc.com and apply for those open positions.
Please, you can call me, you can email, and you can actually text. That number is my work cell phone number. I do a lot of communication through text. That's kind of the way the world seems to be going, and it's working well. At least you know when I send you a text and ask to set up a phone interview, I'm not calling to sell you maybe an insurance policy on your vehicle or something like that. So.
But you will get insurance if you work for Rutherford, which is always a good benefit.
That is true. Thank you all so much.
Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you to all of our attendees, and join us for we have another webinar on Thursday and then some more next week if you're looking for work. Thank you, everyone.